Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to today's episode of Virtual Hero Series. And today I'm really pleased to be talking to Sarah Yandel. She's just realized her name comes from Devon, Cornwall way. So isn't that exciting to know where your name comes from? So Sarah runs a team of VAs. She does the VA business slightly differently. I'm going to leave her to explain what I mean by that. Sarah's based in Dedham, which is near Colchester, so sort of Essex side of the country, East Anglia part of the world. Welcome to the Virtual Hero Series, and say hi to everyone and explain a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do.
Oh, thank you, Natalie. It's really good to be here. So, yes, as you say, it's a little bit different probably to some of your listeners because I actually run a team of virtual freelancers. So some of them are what you might call virtual assistants, but we also have people in our team who are specialists in marketing, all aspects of marketing, as well as administration, business development. So basically, we've got people in our team who can help business owners with pretty much any aspect of running their business. So we work with clients who really want to grow their business. They're ambitious to grow their business, but they're still spending a lot of time on doing a lot of these jobs themselves. So they're doing a lot of the day-to-day work, which isn't the best use of their time. So I work with them to understand what's stopping them from growing their business, find out where we can help. And then I go and talk to my team and find out who will be the right expert who could really be a good match. So I would match them based on obviously their skill set, what kind of industry experience they have to try and get a good match for the client, but also personality, because that's really important as well, to get someone that I think would work really well with the client. So I get to know the client, a little bit about how they like to work as well as what they need before I sort of go and do the research and find them a good match. So I'm a bit of a matchmaking service, really.
I like that, a bit of a matchmaking service. So what got you started in actually running your VA business, but running it this way? Why not just become a one-woman band and become your own VA, essentially?
Yeah, well, I did look at that. But to be honest, my background, I've worked in various different industries for a number of years. And I've always, over many years now, managed teams of people to actually deliver results. And that's what I really enjoy. I enjoy that aspect of actually being able to find the right people to do the work. Obviously overseeing that work and making sure it's done really well and effectively, but not being involved in all the sort of nitty-gritty detail. It's kind of not the aspect of it that I feel I'm as good at as a lot of other people are. So I prefer to bring in people who are good at those aspects, and no one can be good at everything. So I think it's important to place your strengths and take on work that is really good for you and a good match. So this opportunity arose out of COVID, to be honest, because I was doing something different prior to this. But during COVID, I realized that the whole virtual world was something that was really going to stay with us going forwards. People had a much better understanding of how people can work virtually and the real benefits that we can bring as virtual workers to a lot of businesses to make them more effective. So that was the appeal, really. It was the fact that this model played to my strengths and my experiences. And it's great because I have a great team that I work with as well. You're not sort of isolated and working on your own. And that's why a lot of people join our team, because they find it quite isolating working on their own, and it can be quite difficult to keep motivated. Whereas if they're part of a team and they have myself as well to sort of talk to them and find out what kind of work they want to do and give them work to do, I've got that contact with someone other than trying to find a client and constant networking.
So essentially you've looked at your skills and your strengths and thought, okay, what can I do with this? And working with people and matchmaking people and running teams is obviously something that you are good at and have experience with. And it's great that you are creating this little bubble of VAs who can come under your umbrella, essentially. Do they still have their own businesses as well? So they're still getting their own clients, or are they predominantly with you and your business?
Now, they have their own clients as well, because we can't be employers of them. So they work always as freelancers. So they need generally to have a few clients already before starting to work with us. So they already are set up. They know what's involved with being a freelancer, being self-employed. But the good thing about working with us, apart from the sort of team environment, is that they don't have to spend time actually going out to look for new clients, because we actually do that for them. So they just have to get on and do the work, which is great if you've got a few clients but you just want to fill in gaps here and there, so you can get some ad hoc work coming in.
You essentially help with the marketing bits, and like you said, the networking and all that, which can take hours, and it's very time consuming. And if you're doing that, you're not focusing on your clients, you're not doing the client's work, which could be admin, bookkeeping, or whatever it is that you're doing, whereas you are doing all the networking and the marketing side, which takes the time. But the client work is getting done through your team because you've matched them with the right clients.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people who like doing the work and are very good at the detailed work, then they don't necessarily like or are particularly good at the marketing kind of work. Because I said earlier that,
we're not good at everything.
No one's good at everything. They're all different skill sets. And people who love networking are not normally the people who are the sort of detailed, get your head down and do things really thoroughly, because it is a different way of working. And it's not usually, those skills aren't usually in the same person very often. People can do it, but it's not necessarily the best thing for them to be doing.
So you started this as through the first lockdown, or when COVID turned the world upside down. What has been some of the stumbling, and put my teeth back in. What has been some of the stumbling blocks that you've come across as a new business owner in essentially in 2020, starting a business and growing your business?
Well, I think any business startup is challenging, and particularly when you can't get out and about and meet people. I think that sort of face-to-face contact is quite valuable. And it's just getting your name known, really. It just takes time. And I think you just have to accept that it's going to take time and not expect miracles overnight, to be honest. I mean, you can get some quick wins, but I think when you're starting a new business, you have to be realistic. And especially when you're opening a new business, when the world is a little bit different and unpredictable, and no one really knows, where we're going at the moment. So I think you just have to be realistic about your aims, not be disappointed if things don't go right straight away, because it's really easy to sort of think, oh, well, I was planning to get X number of clients by now and I haven't, to let that really affect you. And it's important to be kind to yourself and not expect too much too soon when you're starting a new business, because it will come. You just have to be consistent. That's what I've really learned, is despite all the things that don't go to plan, just keep doing the same things, because they will work. It just takes time.
It's consistency and patience and time and slowly get the word out there that this is what you're doing and creating.
Yeah.
So as I'm a confidence coach, and I do like to talk about confidence, because I think that is an important topic, or I could just be biased, but I'll go with the important topic. So what does confidence mean for you personally?
Well, confidence comes from experience, I think, to a lot of extent. So I think for most people, it's really useful to draw on experience of things you've done where you have felt that you're good at what you do and you're confident at what you do, because then immediately when you're speaking to clients, that will come across, that you're talking about something you know about. Obviously, we'll all go into a situation where you think, I have no idea what I'm doing here. I personally had to learn a lot in the last year, especially around marketing my business, lots of new ways of doing things which I didn't know before. But I think it's just sometimes a little bit of an acting game, obviously. So sometimes you just have to reach into yourself and put that best face forward and show that confident feel, even though underneath you're going, I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I think a lot of it you learn through talking to other people. The networking is actually useful from that perspective. So I definitely recommend doing that anyway, just to build your confidence, because just talking to other people, finding out about industries, you build that confidence every day, just finding out more information about how things are done.
I love how you describe it, and as experience, and I glean a lot from when I ask people what confidence means for them, and I'm loving the answers that I get. So tell me a little bit about your confidence journey and what you've gone through personally.
Well, as I said, I've was working in a different industry before now. So my background was in the travel industry. And so I went from sort of working in hotels to working for a retail travel agent. And then I ran my own tour operating business for about 12 years. And I started that from scratch. So so that was a big challenge, lots of ups and downs. And I think everyone has their ups and downs with confidence, the same as ups and downs with business, really. And if something goes wrong, you get a big sort of, you do get a sort of drop in your confidence. But for me, my attitude has always been, I want to learn new things. So even if the new learning doesn't result in a success financially, for me personally, I feel I've grown as a person because I've learned something new, even if it's not useful in any way other than to me. I feel I've been successful in something. So I have a real believer in lifelong learning. And I think it's so important to keep, not to get stuck in a rut, to keep. So I've sort of moved on from one. Well, I mean, this particular move was forced upon me, I have to say, but generally I do look to move on and look for a new challenge and move to the next thing, because I enjoy that. I enjoy the learning, and I think that helps build the confidence as well as a kind of a bonus, really, from doing that. So I think just looking to the next thing all the time, not getting stuck in a rut, is really important.
And that is great advice, is moving forward, looking to opportunities, looking for ways you can learn, gather knowledge, whether it's like you said, useful or just useful to you, is irrespective. It's that you are broadening your knowledge base and skills. So one thing I do offer to all my guests is to put me on the spot a little bit and to ask me any question they want about confidence.
Oh, that has put me on the spot.
I didn't mean put you on the spot, put me on the spot.
Yeah, I know. I have to think of a question now. I could just reverse the question, really, in terms of how you feel about it. How have you become the confident person you are today, which shows through? Has that been a hard journey, would you say, or a natural progression through your career?
For me, it was a journey that was hard, but I did not realize that the journey I was taking was developing my confidence. I did not understand how important confidence was, or what confidence was to start with. But like you, when I started my business, I went networking. And in some ways that helped me a little bit. I also learned to become a public speaker because I really struggled to speak to people. The minute there was more than two people talking to me, I'd get tongue-tied and I just didn't know what to say. And I struggled with that. So I would avoid all these situations, which is great if you're employed and you don't need to speak to people. But the minute you start your own business, you've got a network, you've got to talk to people, clients, whoever it is, you need to develop a way of speaking. So I went and actually learned how to become a public speaker. And through that, I started to understand what confidence was and how to grow it and develop it. And now I actually do things on purpose to help grow my confidence. So it has been a journey, but it's been a really interesting journey. And I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't gone through that. Does that sort of answer your question?
Yes, well, it's interesting about public speaking because I actually really enjoy public speaking, and I seek out opportunities to do it, but I don't really like doing it on Zoom.
So it is different on Zoom than it is face to face.
Yeah, so I do like the actual in the room experience of the eye contact, and it's very difficult doing it in a virtual environment, I find. But I really enjoy doing that, and I suppose through my career, I've been forced into doing it. But through being forced into doing it, you get better.
You've actually learned to love it.
Yeah, and absolutely do. And I really enjoy doing it now. I mean, it's a bit nerve-wracking, but you just get that high at the end, which in everyday work, you don't often get that high. I mean, I say the only time otherwise, apart from public speaking, is many years ago, I was involved in running a banquet with a team of people. Yeah. And that's the biggest high I think I ever had, actually, was running it, being successful, and the whole team really being happy with how they performed, and obviously all the customers being happy with everything. So yeah, you just get that, it's like a rush,
It is.
That's the best thing about being able to do a really good job, is that sort of feeling of I've done a really good job.
And running a banquet is no easy feat. So
no,
well done.
Challenging.
So what is some of the best bits of advice that you've ever been given?
Oh, best bits of advice. Let me think. I would say, yeah, I think just to get out there, really, and just go for it. I'm trying to think of any advice. I mean, when I was managing people as staff, it was very much about, I got quite a lot of advice around there. And I think in terms of people and getting people on side, it's very much about asking for their ideas and their input rather than just telling people what to do. I think that's one of the first things I learned, was asking people what they think, what they would suggest is the answer to something.
Bringing them into the conversation, into the decision making.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's good advice.
Yeah, and whether they're employed or with freelancers as well, it's the same thing. I probably do it more now because often they do know more than I do, because they know all the details. So it's, I'm not going to sort of say this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to do it. It's right, this is the situation. What are your thoughts on this? How about this? How about the other? But the art of sort of managing a team like that is bringing those on board, but then making sure that those are actually actioned correctly and everything's followed up correctly. And if anything's not quite right, it's like, that was really good. What else could we have done? Or is there some way we could have done it differently next time? Or it's always looking for that little bit of improvement to make it. It's
having that communication. It's communicating with each other to know what's working, what isn't working, ideas, suggestions, what you can utilize, what you can't utilize. And it's just being able to communicate to see what the best solution is for that situation.
Yeah, exactly. And it's bringing it all together. I think I would say I'm a good facilitator. So it's bringing that all together and making sure that people know what they've got to do, when they've got to do it, and making sure it is done. That's sort of something I'm really good at. And I think so important, for any project or any kind of work is to make sure all the deadlines are met and everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing.
And knowing your strengths, like you said, that's what you're good at, but also knowing your weaknesses. You don't know the details of systems, and that's where you are able, or you are willing to ask for help or guidance there, but you do know what your strengths are. Like you said, is managing the people, asking the questions, bringing them into the decision-making process.
Yeah, because we often work with clients who will need more than one person from our team. So it could be a business that they start off just wanting some, say, admin help, but then they realize they need a bit of help with some business development or some marketing. And the beauty is, because of our team knowing each other as well, you can bring people in and they work well together. And obviously I'm there to facilitate it, but they can work together with the client to make sure everything's done properly. And I can just keep an eye on everything, make sure all the time scales are met, deal with any issues as they arise. So it just makes it really straightforward and seamless for the clients, and saves them a lot of time and hassle.
Yes, which as clients, that's what you are there to help them with, saving them time, hassle, and being able to just get on with what they want to do, knowing that that's getting done. It's a great place to be in.
Yeah.
So what is one top tip that you can share with us today?
In terms of what sort of area would you say?
Any tip, any tip that you have to share?
Any tip?
Any tip.
I would just say what I've said before is just embrace new things, take on new challenges, and take every opportunity to learn new things, because I think it just, you don't know when it's going to be useful, and it just keeps you engaged, motivated, keeps you alive, really. So life's too short to just sort of plod along. I think just take on the challenge, and just go for it. You know, what's the worst can happen? It goes wrong. But if you don't try, you don't know. So it's better to have tried and not succeeded than never tried, in my view. But people are scared to do it, but it's better to try.
And I love how you say just learn, just keep learning new things. And this is so powerful and so important, because like you say, when you learn something new, you'll try a new idea, you'll try a new concept or whatever it is, and like it will either work or it won't work, but you learn from it. So you'll know not to do that again, or maybe it needs tweaking, but if you don't try,
and I think,
you know,
it is not just work, it's doing, you know, things outside of work, which is also important. You don't want to be everything work. But yeah, I like trying new challenges outside work as well, so I will do those as well.
Can you give us a little example?
Well, I've just started having swimming lessons.
Wow.
It's a bit of a trend this year, has been outdoor swimming, which I wanted to do. So I've had a go at doing that. But yeah, I'm having some private lessons at the moment because I just need to be a better swimmer to feel confident going out, doing outdoor swimming, really. So that's my goal for next spring, is to be good enough to be able to do it.
Lovely. I know somebody who's in Suffolk, and she does, she's near Sudbury, and she does this open water swimming. And yeah, I'm from South Africa. I like the water to be warm.
I was going to say, yeah, we
not heated swimming pool, just naturally warm from the weather.
Yeah, well, the village I live in, Dedham, we've got a river, and there is open water swimming there on a Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, which is what I really want to do, because I think that's just up my street. But I just want to be a bit more confident first, so I'm doing a bit of practice in the pool before I go in the open water.
Wonderful. I look forward to hearing how your open water experience goes.
That'll be next spring now. Too cold now.
Oh, that's just an excuse.
We'll get better weather next year as well.
Oh, that would be good. But yeah, it is about embracing new ideas and learning new, and even relearning something or getting more confident in something that you want to do. How can people find you?
Well, we have a website, which is getaheadva.com. And I have a page on there, which is specifically about me. But if anyone's interested in being part of our team, they can contact me directly. So my email address is sarah@getaheadva.com.
Brilliant. And I will add all your links to this when this goes live, so that people can look for you and hunt you down should they need your services or want to be part of your team. So thank you very much, Sarah. I really appreciate the time you've taken to chat with us. Your nuggets of information that you've shared with us is keep learning, communicate, and I wish you the best of luck with your open water swimming challenge.
Thank you.
You'll love it when you do it, and I look forward to hearing about that. So thank you so much for being here. And thank you for taking the time to watch this episode. Please do feel free to subscribe to the channel and share it. And until next time, take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.